Hey guys, welcome back to DJ's Workshop. Today we're going to do a little home improvement. I noticed an issue recently on my water tank that I was taking a shower the other day and the water pressure actually cut off on me. And I believe the issue is due to the pressure switch for the well pump. So the pump is actually, the switch for the pump is right here. And there are some contacts in here that I don't believe were working properly. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new pressure switch in here today, and I'm going to show you what's involved with that. It's not too big a deal, but I'll show you how to get it done. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so this is the component that we're going to replace. There's a small nut on here that you would take off, pull this cover off, and you can see there's like 5 wires in there. You probably want to mark these, but basically 2 blacks go on one side, 2 whites go on the other side, and then the red one goes there. You could actually switch these, the black and whites. I don't think it really matters as long as they're both together. So what we got to do first is we got to shut the power off, because that is 220. We don't want to mess with that. And then we need to shut the water off, and then we need to drain this tank out. Now up here there is a pressure valve. So on these tanks, you should be able to rock this tank a little bit. If you can't, that means it's full of water and it's probably no good. The other way you can tell is if you hit this valve, if air comes out, that's good. If water comes out, you know it's bad, okay? So we're gonna go over to the fuse panel, and then we have our well pump here. I'm gonna shut that off, okay? So that's gonna kill the power going to this. Alright, so the next thing is I have a bucket and I have a hose, so I'm going to go ahead and drain this water out, and then we'll get that pressure down. So right now we got about 50-60 pounds of pressure in there, so we're going to get that down to 0. So let me get this water drained and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we have the hose hooked up, we turn the valve open, we're draining the water out of the tank now, so we'll get this filled up, and you can see the pressure starting to drop on the tank here. Okay, so now that we have all the pressure out of the tank and the water's drained, before you do anything, you're going to want to check to make sure that there is no voltage at this pump. So get yourself a little multimeter, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to just check the leads. Okay, just verify that there's no voltage there. Okay, so we get 0 volts right now. Okay, so we know we're good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to need to do is to remove these wires off of here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen up these little clamps that are holding the wires in, so we can slide those out. Alright, so what I did was I just took a Sharpie and I just marked on here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just so when I put them back in I'll know exactly which order they were in. Okay, then you're going to just want to start unscrewing these. You got a couple of grounds down here too we got to take out. Okay, so next I'm just going to start removing these wires, and we'll snake them out of here. Okay, I'm going to take these little connectors off because we're going to need them on the other one. So we'll just take this right off of here. Make it a little bit easier to get the wires out. Okay. Okay, so those are out. And then we'll do the same for this side. Okay, so now we get the wiring all out. Next thing we gotta do is take this off. Okay, and this just simply unscrews on. Okay, just a little bit of pressure there. Now, one thing that a lot of people say is that this tube here will tend to build up with some junk from the... Yeah, see, you can see there's a little bit of brown stuff in there, so we want to make sure that this is clear, because that can affect the valve. Okay, so that's all nice and clear. Let's see if we can drain anything else out of this. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, so I'm going to take this old tape off of here. I'll put some new stuff on here. Okay. Alright, so we have our new unit here. This is from Pumptrol, and it's the same exact replacement. Hey, there is a little diaphragm in here that activates this. So here you can see the contacts. Okay, this here is to regulate the pressure. So this one here, they come in different sizes. You can get like, let me see which one this is. This one's a 40-60. You can get a 30-50. You can get a 40-60. This one adjusts the range. So you want it set at 40-60, but you can raise it to 45-65 or lower it to 35-55. That's what that does. This sets the limit when you want it to shut off. So if it's shutting off at 60 and you want it to shut off at 62, you would just crank this down a little bit and that would adjust that. All right, so let me loosen up these ground screws because we're going to need that. Alright, so we're going to thread this one back on just like the other one came off. Okay. That on there. Alright, now we got to feed the wires back through and then rewire them back the way that they were. So we'll slip this in here. Put these ground wires back in. Alright, so this first ground wire went here. And then the second ground wire. there. Okay, make sure those are good and tight. Okay, now we'll hook up the rest of these. Okay, now I know this one was over here. Two, four. Okay, so this one's number 1. 3, 4, 5. Okay, this one's number 5. This one's number 6. And then we have these 2 here. Alright, so at this point you can see all the wires are hooked back up the way they were. Our pressure tank is still got 0 pressure in it. Okay, you can see we got 0 pressure in there. I want to make sure that this valve is closed. And what we got to do now is we got to come up to the top here and we got to make sure we get the correct amount of pressure in here. Alright, so if this is rated for 40, then we want to have it a couple of pounds below, so you want it at like 38. If it was rated for 30, then we would want it about 28. So let's see what we get right now. Right now we're looking at 22, 4, 6, 8, just about 30. So we're going to need a little bit more pressure. I got to get it up to about 38. Okay, you can use whatever you got for a compressor. I'm going to use this little one here, portable one, because I don't need a ton of pressure. But let's get it built up here. So we get about 28. Okay. Okay, so at this point we have the 38 pounds of pressure that we want in there. So that's all set. We'll put this cap back on. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is kick the power back on, and then we're going to watch this gauge down here, and we're going to see when it kicks off. Should kick off around 60 psi, so let's see what it does. Okay, so we're building pressure. Okay, so you can see the pump shut off at 60 psi, which is what it's rated to do. When you open the faucet, it drains down the pressure, it goes down about 40 pounds, and then the pump kicks back on, builds the pressure back up again. Okay, so I think this job is going to be complete. We have the new pressure switch installed, and everything is regulating the way it should. You can adjust it if it's not quite at the numbers where you want it to be. But hopefully that takes care of the problem of no water pressure when taking a shower. It would just cut out, lose pressure. So got the new switch installed, and hopefully that solves that problem. Alright guys, if you have the similar issue and you want to replace this switch, that is how you would go about doing it. Alright, if you like the video, give a thumbs up, a share, a like, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.